Welcome back to the Brooklyn Junction and today's episode with the Ultimate Arbitrators. We are the ultimate arbitrators of all things, but specifically football predictions. We were able to get all 7 rounds, every player right in the last draft. Wasn't that great, guys? I don't know how we did it. I mean, somehow we predicted trades and we were able to just really, it's great to be this cluey when it comes to professional football. But what I wanted to start off with, and I think I mentioned it before, is that some people would call me a cheater. I know that Mike and the Mad Dog, popular hosts in New York for a long time here, I think it's really cheesy to root for 2 teams, but I'm unfortunately a schizophrenic. I root for the Giants and the Jets. When they face down, I generally go Giants, right? But it depends on what's at risk. So with that, what I'd like to do is introduce my 2 co-conspirators. We'll just say a quick hello. You've seen them from the draft and multiple episodes of The Bachelor, of which they both they but the Bachelor is 1980. They both won Bachelor in 1980. They were bachelors that were chosen by beautiful wives in the 1980s. So, anyways, first off, let's introduce Dave Robinson. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing fine. Let's get ready. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. And then we also have John McDermott, John J. McDermott. How are you, Johnny?
I'm doing well, Mark. Looking forward to football season. Even though my Jets and my Panthers don't look great this year, but we still got to have hope.
Well, you and I are, every year I go somewhere for a game. And I think last year was, I went to the Meadowlands again or whatever it's called now. And then you and I are going to Tampa this year.
Yep.
That's going to be a lot of fucking fun. I can't wait. And Dave, unfortunately, you have family obligations, even though we're going to be 11 and a half minutes from your house. And we expected to get drunk and crash at your house. But that's okay. We'll hook up some other time.
Definitely.
And I've been to Green Bay, Chicago, San Francisco, Tennessee. Oh, what was the one? Oh, Dallas was an amazing game, and mostly the Meadowlands. Oh, and Foxborough and Buffalo.
Wow.
So
you've been to Lambeau. You went there in the winter time?
Lambeau was astonishing, guys, and that's what this episode's not about. That, but I mean, I literally walked around the whole day, and I always buy great seats, as John and I have been doing recently as well. I had 50-yard line, 20 rows up, and I saw Muhammad Wilkinson throw the game away. By getting some fouls that terminated the game. And Geno Smith played well, so that's how long ago it was. And Aaron Rodgers played well, better. But that was a great experience. It was early September, and they really are a fantastic football team. But let's get to. We're going to start off with the New York Giants and our prediction for the season. And so I'll start with Dave, and we're going to break this into offense, team, and special teams coaching and our predictions. So, David.
Okay.
We'll start with you on offense. What's your thought on, have they improved the offense? Where do you think they stand now?
Well, I'll say this on offense. After looking at last year's offense, there was only one way to go, and it's up. It was pretty bad last year, and I think the biggest change will be at quarterback. I think you obviously Russell is not the long-term answer, but he does throw a nice deep ball, which Jones could not do. And he's not as mobile as Jones, but I think he may be more accurate. He definitely has a lot of experience. Overall, the offensive line probably going to be about the same. Wasn't very good last year. Most important part of that line is Andrew Thomas. He cannot stay healthy. And right now, it's iffy whether he will be there for game 1 because he had an additional surgery back in April. They're missing him. He is irreplaceable. The whole line fell apart. It wasn't great when he was there, and it was terrible after. I think Neighbors will be a year better. I mean, he had a great year last year with 4 different quarterbacks throwing to him. So, I expect the offense to be better. I think Theo Johnson will have a big impact. at tight end. He got hurt just when he was hitting his stride last year. Um, I think that the running backs will be better. Um, they were getting better toward the end of the year. Scatterable, we didn't see him much in the preseason because he got hurt, but he is a battering ram, and I'd like to see if he's got that breakaway speed that they were questioning. That's why he dropped to the fourth round. Whether it's going to translate to the professional football league, but he's a great receiver, which will also help their offense. But the key will be most people are going to be waiting for Jackson Dart, obviously. If Russell doesn't get off to a good start, they're going to be clamoring for him. Um, if we could come out of this season with some sort of definitive answer at quarterback, then I have to say that we had a successful season because this is a question that we've been trying to answer now for years. You know, who's going to replace Eli? You know, we were hoping it was going to be Jones, and we kind of knew it wasn't going to be Jones pretty early. So
Well, so Mr. Mara
um,
didn't know that. Mr. Mara,
he thought that the team screwed him up, but actually, his first year, he was impressive in preseason. He was very good, and he threw for more yards that year. He only started like 14 games, but I think per game he threw more yards. The biggest problem he had in the beginning was turnover. He
yeah, he
kept
was.
committing, fumbling all over the place. He was interception. They sort of dialed him back, but he just never threw the same. And he doesn't go a good three. He was never. He was overdrafted. And you know what? If you look at it that year statistically, it wasn't a great year statistically. I mean, he managed the game well, okay, and that was the best part about it. Um, they got off to a good start that year, and it propelled them to the playoffs. But overall, um, he only threw for 3,200 yards that year. He threw 15 touchdowns and 5 picks. 15 touchdowns for a really good quarterback. That's like half a season. You got some, you know. So, and he only threw for 3,200 yards. That's in 16 games. Believe it or not, his first year, he only started 14 games, and he threw for 3,200 yards. 30, no, he threw for 3,027. But he started 12 games. That year he threw for 3,200. He started 16 games. So the offense was basically based around Saquon Barkley. He was everything to that offense that year that they made the playoffs, not Daniel Jones.
So I have an
Um,
incomplete grade. Let me jump in. I have an incomplete grade on Shane, but leading towards a bad grade. I don't hate him like I've seen some of the Jet GMs and their prior GMs. I think right now we really, the jury's big time out. See, the thing about this is I see the Giants offense, if they had kept Saquon, if they had paid Saquon, and they had to pay him above a running backs, the top running backs, because he was much more than a running back. To me, they should have kept Saquon, and this is a big fatal mistake, and franchise Jones and see how that worked out. Now, maybe there's some financial reasons they couldn't have done that, but could you imagine having Saquon and Malik Neighbors? I mean, who the hell that would have been unbelievable. But let's just say I'll jump in and then we'll do John. We'll give his follow up on the offense. I think the offense has improved somewhat. Definitely the quarterback room has improved. I think the running back room it over last year, but it could it's at least a neutral grade for me. I think the O line, it's unconscionable that it hasn't been upgraded. Now I think who's the guy, the third round pick? Embo? I don't know if I've got his name correct. Yeah, he has to look good. Andrew Thomas, like you said, has to come back. But I'd say that's at least a neutral. It hasn't degraded, but hasn't upgraded. And the passing game looks relatively the same, right? You could, it's really not. Theo Johnson might be hopefully he becomes something worth talking about. But in my opinion, this is a neutral to slightly better offense. And the O-line is going to be, this is my prediction for the offense, the O-line is going to be their Achilles heel this year. So let's go to Joe, in your opinion.
Um, Definitely agree with you with a lot of what you're saying. The passing game has been upgraded. Russell Wilson is going to be better than Daniel Jones, but you got to remember Russell Wilson's still not a great quarterback anymore. He was at one point in his life. Last year, at the end of the year, he kind of failed for the Steelers. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. The key to this season for the Giants is Jackson Dart, I believe. I agree with Dave on that one. Is they have to see if Dart is possibly the answer at some point this year going forward, because Russell Wilson's not going to be the answer. He's 37 years old. Jameis Winston's also been around for a really long time, and he's a human turnover machine. Sometimes he's absolutely great. Sometimes he's horrible. But Dart seems to he's had a great preseason, and hopefully he can turn around and become a starting quarterback in the National Football League, a top 10 quarterback. Even better if he's a top 5.
Yeah, well, we can't get our hopes that much up. I mean, first off, I don't want them to screw them up.
That's a big ask.
Having them not.
I'll take it.
First off,
I
it's
don't expect it to be 1 year. But their offensive line, I'm looking at their depth chart right now. Thomas isn't even listed in their offensive line. So that scares the heck out of me. Game one. Yes, he's iffy. They signed the kid Hudson to play that left tackle spot because they had a Zuzu there, and then they finally switched Elmore there. So, but Hudson did look good in the preseason. Yeah, bunch of penalties, and I guess they don't want to put Mimbo there too early. So he will probably, if Thomas can play game one, he goes there. But that's a big downgrade. Plus, the interior of the line between John Michael, Runyon, and Van Rott is pretty rotten, if you ask me. I was hoping that Evan Neal could grab that spot.
Appropriate name.
I thought I thought Schmitz was a good center.
But, no, he's been disappointing. This is his third season. He's been disappointing. High second round pick. He was better last year than he was the year before. Allows too much pressure. I mean, this is a make or break season as far as I'm concerned, as far as him. Because he was supposed to be one of the long term ends.
You got to love going back to the team. You got to love Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is absolutely awesome,
unbelievable,
and I think he's going to improve a great deal with Russell.
I believe that too. Like I said, last year we had between Drew Lock, Timmy Doyle was quarterback, DeVito. We had so many guys throwing in the ball. It didn't matter. He was still catching. The key, though, to that is he had a lot of targets last year. They looked for him constantly. Teams probably will key on that this year and try to force you to throw to the other guys, whether it be Slayton, whether it be
Robinson.
And
they want him to throw to Hyatt so he drops the ball. They want them to throw it to Hyatt so Hyatt will drop the ball.
You got to respect Hyatt.
He's got to play better. Oh, believe it or not, he was a Biletnikoff winner in college.
He was great.
And he was in and out this year. Wilson likes it. I mean, he can get deep. I saw him against the Patriots And the first pass, he never even got his hands on it. He's putting his hands on the defensive back before the ball comes. By the time the ball comes, it hits him on his shoulder. He never even gets his hands around. Then the other one he dropped, and then the last one he caught. He's got speed. He put on about 20 pounds this year, okay, because he was too small. And I think it was at one point was affecting his hamstring. But he's an X factor. He can get deep. He's fast, but he got to catch the ball.
So real
You
quick,
know,
what about
can't catch
the
the
running
ball.
game? What about the running game?
Well, Tyrone Tracy was a rookie last year. Remember, he's a converted receiver. So he started off great, tailed off at the end. Speculation is once they removed Jones, Jones was a threat to run. So teams were key on that. Once they didn't have to worry about that with Drew Lock or the other guys. It was tougher for him to run, but he was a rookie. I expect him to be better this year. He didn't catch the ball well last year, but he actually was a receiver in college. So, and like I said, Scatterboo can stay healthy. He was an excellent receiver in college. So I think they're trying to make them like a little thunder and lightning back in the days of Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw.
Okay, so that's the offense. Anything else on the offense, John, or I just want to make us sum that up real quick.
No, we can move on.
All right. So bottom line, I think that they marginally improved on offense, especially in the quarterback room. I still think that, I cannot believe we're sitting here talking about the O-line still, right? Now, I know it's extremely difficult, and it's also, you got salary cap issues. So maybe there was nobody out there worth a damn to shore up. But the Jets certainly improved, which improved their offensive line. But staying on the Giants, let's shift to defense. And this is where, they have, I don't know, man. You'd have to tell me if there's, maybe the Eagles has a better defensive line. I mean, I think their defensive line is we're talking back to the heyday of, Harry Carson and Taylor, and not that level, let's say, but it's the same philosophy of a really dominant defensive line, and they're going to need it in that division, which is the toughest division in football, in my opinion. So, what do you think, John?
Well, I am not. I think the Giants have got a very good defensive line, and there's possibility of it being a great defensive line. I am not as high on Burns as you guys are. I watched him down here in Carolina for 4 years, and he was good. He was good. He's not elite, and he's being paid as an elite defense linebacker. Um, he got double-digit sacks once in his career down here, and that was when he had another elite defensive. He actually had an elite defensive end on the team, and that was Hassan Reddick. Um, so I'm hoping Abdul Carter can be that the Hassan
I'm
Reddick
excited for him.
on the
I watched
Giants.
him a little bit in college. He's a game wrecker,
Yep.
I mean, it's potential.
And so if Abdul Carter can do, because Dexter Lawrence is just a stud. I loved him at Clemson, and
You
I
said
was
that
very
back
happy
then when he was
when
drafted.
Gettleman picked him for the Giants. And he might be the best defensive tackle in the league. He does both. He plays the run well, and he pressures the passer. So with him and Thibodeau, who I think he was hurt last year. I'm not sure. I should have looked that up.
He missed about 5 games at the
5
beginning,
games.
4 or 5 games at the beginning of the year.
The potential between Thibodeau, Burns, and Carter is just unbelievable. The three of them, but they could just wreck
And
havoc.
Dexter Lawrence
on the
hankering in the
quarterback.
middle there,
Yep, and with Dexter Lawrence, and so the defensive line could be one of the best in the league. I just got to see what happens when Abdul Carter gets used and how they use it.
Yeah.
Before I will say that.
And so what do you think in general, David?
The defense should be better. We were one of the worst teams last year as far as run defense. 27th league-wide, 136 yards a game. We also were 8th worst in average depth of tackle, 4.37. Missed tackles were the biggest part. We were 8th according to Pro Football Focus, and league-wide missed tackle. And then once Dexter Lawrence got hurt, it was unwatchable. That will be a major key about stopping the run. I know one thing: if Ray Cam Nunez is starting, this is probably not going to be pretty. I think he's more of a rotation piece, not a start. And he had to start last year because they never really replaced Leonard Williams. And he didn't really do a lot with that tackle spot. I know I used to read Dan Dugan in The Athletic, and a lot of people were warning the Giants about that last year, and it came to fruition. They were terrible stopping the run. Roy Robinson Harris didn't look great in camp, but looked good in the game. So it is a possibility that he will be that run stuffer they need next to Dexter Lawrence. They also signed Chauncey Golston from the Cowboys, who's supposed to be a good run defender, to sprinkle on him. Darius Alexander was the kid that they drafted to play that position. It looks like it's going to take him an adjustment. He had a great last preseason, right, but he wasn't really great in camp. He didn't show a lot in the games. Hopefully some of these guys will step up because basically, yes, I expect the pass rush to be good. Brian Burns, I admitted when they made the trade, I thought they overpaid. I saw him as a good player, not a great player. And he was paid like in that Miles Garrett, TJ Watt. They've since blown him away. But that's not the player I saw on the field. Now they said he came in camp and he played like he was trying to make the team. He was all in camp. We'll see if that translates once the season starts. But huh? I thought they overpaid for him because one, with the NFL, you trade for the guy, you rarely get equal compensation. If he was for a guy like Michael Parsons, you got 2 first-round picks. Probably not going to be very good picks.
And what a dumbass trade. Come on. What a dumbass trade.
You got a good player.
No, I'm saying the Cowboys, what the hell are they thinking?
It's come out that he's got a bad back, though. So
I don't know how bad it is. I did hear he had to get an injection to play. But he's been one of the most dominant players.
Well, listen, John needs to have an injection to have sex, so that doesn't hold him back. Actually, I'm the one who needs the injection. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, that's all right. He gets the job done.
Gets the job done. So,
yes, I expect Thibodeau this is 4th year, so next year they have him on the 5th year option. Eventually, they may have to move on from one of these guys.
Yep. They're not going to be able to pay off
with Abdul Carter. And right now, they're going to
it's not Dexter Lawrence, man. He's been my favorite player with them since Eli Manning, what about...
They locked him up, didn't they?
Yeah, he's paid. Matter of fact, the salaries for the defensive tackles has exploded.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
The Giants made an adjustment to his contract because he had really dropped down. And they made an adjustment so I think put some incentives in so he could make more money because some of these contracts have exploded. Because like I said, when Giants signed Burns, this is his 2nd year last year, he was up there high, but now
he's cheap.
Now TJ Watt, they blowing him away. I don't even know if he's top 5 anymore. But he doesn't. Like I said, he's a good player. He's not a great player. Those guys are great players. Miles Garrett is a great player. So that's the difference. But the Giants should be better defensively. Cornerback was a weak spot from last year. Tate Banks was terrible. He hasn't even announced who will be that second quarterback. Okay, between him and Flock. I'm no Flock fan either, but he this year they made him earn his spot, which to me we should always. I don't believe in giving anybody the spot. Like when we drafted Evan Neal, we said he's the right tackle. I believe in competence. You want the spot, you got to win the spot.
They did improve with Adebo and Phillips. They did improve their cornerback room considerably this year.
Well, I agree with that, but Adebo is at cornerback. He had two good safeties. He had Xavier McKinney, and Julian Love. To this day, I'll never understand how he did that. Julian Love, they offered him a contract. He wanted to wait to the end of the season. Then he goes out. Free agency was bad that year for safeties. The best he could get was 2 years, $12 million from the Seahawks. He brings it back to the Giants, and they said they wouldn't match it. We'd already used the money. He goes to the Seahawks. He's so good. They tore it up and gave him another contract. I couldn't believe it. And McKinney, he was pissed, I think, McKinney, because he thought he should have been signed early. He thought he was a foundation piece. He had one great year. We had 5 interceptions, which might have been more than all the Giants put together last year. And he goes to Green Bay. It's the first team All-Pro. And then you paid Howland almost as much as you paid McKinney, and he's not as good as McKinney.
This is where I kind of got a little empathetic towards him when I watched the off season, whatever, Hard Knocks, GM or something, and I went, I felt at the time, and you guys might remember, I says, keep Saquon, keep McKinney, right? Now maybe salary cap wise, you can't do that, but like you're just pointing out, they ended up paying this. So those are two.
You could have done it.
These 3 strikes, he's out, in my opinion, right? Like if Dart, would God forbid, turns into a bust, which you can't control. It's like an educated guess with these quarterbacks. But like, uh, I don't want to shift into. I want to finish off the defense first. My feeling is the unit is really improved over last year. Between Abdul Carter and Adebo, and I don't know, like the loss of the, I think they're moved from like a C plus defense to a B minus level. What do you guys think? Have they improved their defensive structure?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I agree with you 100%. I think
agree.
A big improvement.
Definitely. Abdul Carter, Adebo, another year in the new defense with Shane Bowen. That also will help because that was his first year last year. So I definitely think that they improved the defense. Pass rush will be the key, but you have to be able to stop the run. Okay, and if they are even decent in the run, their defense will definitely be a major step in the right direction. Because pass rush is really good also when you're ahead. Because when you pin your ears back, because they know they got to pass, which the Giants were probably never in that. Maybe a couple of games in that situation last year, they were always trailing. But this is probably the best defense he's had since he's been. Probably since the last time they made the last time when we have Snacks Harrison from the Jets and.
So we believe offense is neutral to improved. We believe the defense is improved, right? I think special teams, it's not like we're experts on that. Let's just say that's neutral and move to coaches, right? Outside of that crazy injury they had with the kicker last year. And obviously I hope they learned from that lesson to have somebody to be able to kick the ball. Now, kick the field goals. Now, moving to the coaches, I don't know why I like Daboll. I started wondering, why do I like him so much? I think he's that tough, no-nonsense coach. I've seen him take some risks the first season when they went to the playoffs, and which is right. Outside of that crazy injury they had with that whole kerfunkle with, what was that guy's name? Wink Martindale or whatever. that was kind of like not cool. That's not cool to have some active battling with your own coaches. But I think Kafka, what I saw in the offseason, was an improvement on from an offensive perspective. I really can't tell you about Shane Bowen, but I think the coaching has improved a little bit. And I also think that we keep him on if the Giants have a reasonable schedule, right? I'm sorry. Let's go right to what's your assessment of the coaches?
All right, I like Dayball. I think he should get a chance. He's never really had a quarterback. He's been stuck with Jones. He didn't want Jones, and he got stuck with him. They should at least give him a chance to show improvement. Um, uh, with the team, with the quarterback, he's got Jackson Dart now. Let's see what happens. Russell Wilson is a very competent quarterback. Let's see how he does. So I think they should give Dayball at least another this year and next year to see how he can mold this team, and with money that he wants. I it depends. If they play 4 games and the team gives up, get rid of them. If they play 4 games and they play hard every single game, they win 4 games and they play hard every single game and they lose by a score, then they're showing improvement. I would give them another year. But again, I like Dayball. For some reason I like him. Um, yeah,
I've seen times where I thought he mismanaged things, especially the year after they made the playoffs, tried to dial things back. His teams don't seem to get off a good start. I think this year, one of my biggest thing with coaches, I believe that you have to hold the players accountable. That was one of the problems I thought the Jets had with Robert South, not holding the players
yep.
accountable. You make a mistake, if you keep jumping off sides, I can't leave you in there. You got to pay a price for that. Yeah, you got to come out. And I would not move on from him unless the team looks absolutely overmatched. Um, but I would only give him one more year, and that's to see what he can get out of Dart. We may not know what Dart is this year, but we'll know what he is by next year. If Dart is not a confident NFL quarterback, it's time to clean house because I had told my brother that I wanted them both fired at the end of last season because I thought if you're going to let him pick the quarterback, you ought to let them see it through. I would have rather had somebody new and let them pick the quarterback. And because once a guy's on his last year, they know that they have to, they're supposed to, well, people expect them to win. I'm not expecting a lot of wins, but they're fighting to keep their jobs. So a lot of times that may taint your decision on certain things, how to do it, because you're basically almost out of
Well,
time.
they've hedged that bet because if, let's say, Russell Wilson underperforms or is injured, they have another experienced play caller behind him. I think it was a smart move from that perspective, Jameis Winston.
I think
And he
that
can
was
win you a
too,
few
but
games as well. So the thing is, so let's get to the final assessment here. My gut feeling is that outside of what would, as John, first of all, I disagreed with you firing him last year because it's been like 6 coaches in the last, 6 years or 8 years. Judge was a mistake. I forgot the guy from the Vikings. I mean, they didn't really inspire
Pat
confidence.
Shermer,
Yeah, I think Dayball does. Dayball inspires some confidence, and if he keeps his players
but
playing outside of a total disaster, I think that you keep him on and give
well,
him, as John said, one more year.
I'm not opposed to that. One of the reasons why I wanted them fired, there's no way that Shane signs Daniel Jones without an endorsement from Dable. You signed this guy to a 4-year deal, which was obvious mistake. They still got a $20 million dead cap hit for having to cut him.
Mm.
Now you're supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. You should have seen that this guy
You
is
should be
not the
whispering.
long-term answer.
Let's see some whispering.
Dave, I had read that,
you know,
I had read that Dayball did not want Jones, and that he was stuck with him because Mara wanted him.
that is a possibility, but we're never going to get confirmation from that. You know what I'm saying? So you might be right, but who's going to always pay the price? The coach and the GM,
Yep.
right?
So
The
far,
owner ain't going to pay the price.
this is an incomplete to poor grade on the coaches and the GM. I think that, to me, what sticks in my craw is still the Saquon Barkley, and you saw that. Like he walked over to, Tim Mara. Tim Mara, is that his name? I don't know if his first name's Tim, but Mara walks over
No.
to Shane and goes, "My nightmare scenario is Saquon Barkley goes to the
John
Eagles
Mara.
and wins a Super Bowl." I mean, and it's like he goes and he says, "All right, go ahead and make the decision." So he hung it right publicly in that TV show on Shane, you know? So to me, those are
But you know what?
pretty intense
I'm a
errors.
Giant fan, and I didn't want him to go to the Eagles. But this guy is a Hall of Fame running back that you probably would have never seen that with the Giants.
No,
No, it was good for him.
it was good for him.
It was
Howie
great
Rose
for
is a
him.
genius,
But
and
that's an
he's the best
indictment of the
in the
Giants.
sport right now.
It's not his fault. He was there, what, 5 seasons? I think 5 or 6. You would have never seen that running back with the Giants. You had him all those years, and he looked good. He never looked that good.
Yeah.
And that's an indictment of the team. You couldn't
Crappy
build a
O-line.
line.
All right, so let's tie this off. Let's move to the prediction. I think it's the thing that we didn't mention is really going to impact them quite
Actually,
negatively.
6 seasons with the Giants.
The roughest schedule, I think, since I think the Steelers had in 2020, that's 5 years. It's like how that could happen when they only won 3 games last year is ridiculous. But I think the flex games, they should have picked, John's perennial losers, the Carolina Panthers or something. But the point is, my gut is that I think I'm going to first give Craig. Craig thinks they're going to have a real strong season, like 10-7, who wasn't able to join us today. But I think we're looking at 7-10. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe 8-9. So that's where I see them. I am a little more optimistic. John McDermott, what's your prediction?
I am not optimistic, and it's not because I don't think the team is improved. I think the team is improved. Their schedule is rough. I think they got the AFC West, which has greatly improved, and the NFC Central, which also is greatly improved. And the NFC Central, the Packers now got Micah Parsons. So it helps them with the Cowboys because they can actually they compete with the Cowboys maybe now. But I'm looking at possibly a 1-9 or 2-7 start, or 1-8, 2-7 start, and then you're looking at maybe 5-6 wins for the year. They got a rough schedule, really rough schedule.
All right, Dave, let's move to you.
And
Mr.
right, they have a
Optimistic.
tough schedule. But it's going to be a tough schedule. First of all, 2 of the teams last year in the conference finals are in their division. So, and you got the Cowboys in the division. It's a tough schedule. I predicted 6 wins, 6-11. But my thing is, what I really want to see is, are they getting blown out of the games, or are they competitive in these games? And but if they can squeeze out more than 6 wins, Vegas got them, I think, 5.5. I think that they didn't have a bad season. When you transition into a new quarterback and things like that, that's going to happen. You're not going to be, but looking toward the future, hopefully, that things will look up.
All right. So listen,
You
on
never
that
know
note,
how it's going to turn out anyway. The Eagles have the 4-party schedule, and that's because of the divisions they have to play. And the Bears also have a tough schedule. I'll say this: if they win more than 5-6 games, they earned it.
looks like 6-11 is the consensus.
Right? They earned it. because I don't think the Cowboys are going to be that great this year. So
I hate the
that's a team
Cowboys.
that we never beat.
And on that note, we'll also mention that we all really were extraordinarily happy to see Belichick with his chronic halitosis get beaten Friday night. We're all happy to see that shit. So listen, I want to thank everyone for joining us on the 2025 New York Giants prediction, and we'll all get together to see how good we've done. And let's, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Can I get a like and subscribe from my boys here? Dave, gotta give me a like and subscribe. Scream it out.
We need a like and subscribe. We're working hard here, rooting for our team. Let's do it. Let's get it done.
Brooklyn Junction, like and subscribe. I listen to it every week. It's an excellent podcast.
And the host is the best.
Well, I am a generational talent.